All right, to start topic 1 of lesson 3, we're going to just discuss what it means to graph a system of linear inequalities. And in fact, when you've noticed that as we're talking about solving systems of equations, we've had 3 different ways of talking about solving those systems. We could graph them and find the point of intersection. We could use algebraic methods, either the substitution or the elimination method, which would help us to find that point of intersection. So you have your 2 lines and they cross at a point, and we can use either a graph or algebra to find the location of that point. However, when we talk about systems of inequalities, there is no algebraic way to talk about the solution. There's only a graphical method. So I don't know if that will make you happy or sad. I mean, I guess if you like graphs, you'll be okay with it. That makes this section much, I think, easier and certainly quicker to get through, because we're not doing all of those number crunching methods. We're just figuring out how to graph them. So let's do that. I have an example for us here. We know that it's a system because we have 2, and we know that it's a system of inequalities because we're talking here about less than or equal to in the first equation. Well, it's not an equation, the first inequality, and then we're using a greater than sign in the second inequality. So the question is, what exactly does this mean? I mean, we have seen equations, or I shouldn't say equations, that means an equal sign. We've seen inequalities like this and like this before, and we know how to graph them. In fact, all we need to do is just get them into y equals mx plus b form, if you remember. And then we find the slope, we find the y-intercept, and then we graph. We make sure that if it's an greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, we use a solid line, and if it's just a less than or a greater than, we use a dotted line. And then lastly, we shade either above or below based on what the sign indicates. So that's what we do here. That's all that we need to do, is use those rules for graphing, and instead of graphing 1 on this nice little xy coordinate plane here on the right, we're going to graph 2 on the same plane. So in order to do that, let me get a different color here. Well, we'll do blue. And I'm going to graph this first inequality. I know that the y-intercept is the -3, so I go down 1, 2, 3. This is the y-intercept. And I know that the slope is right before the x, that's the coefficient of x, 2. And that means we go up 1, 2, and over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. And the reason I'm doing more than, we only need 2 points. I'm going to go backwards 2. Back 1, down 2. We only need 2 points in order to draw the line, but it's kind of nice to be able to see the whole pattern, especially since I'm sketching this on a computer. So you don't need to put all those points on, but you do want to make sure that your line follows the up 2 over 1 pattern. Okay, so that is my line. Now notice I made it solid because this is a less than or equal to. Here, less than or equal to, so that means it's a solid line. And because it's less than, remember, we're thinking about this as if it's a roof. I just want to make this a little bit thicker. We're thinking about it if it's the roof to the house, so that would be like the rest of it would come down here. If it's less than, that means we're shading under the roof, so we shade down here. And that's what we do. Okay, that's it. Now we're not done because we've only graphed 1 of our lines. So let's take green now and draw this graph. And we're going to do it, we're going to graph it on the same coordinate axis because it's a system. Okay, so we know that the y-intercept is +2. So we go to the origin, go up 1, 2. And we know that the slope is -2/3. So that's going to be rise over run, so down 2 over 3. So down 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3. down to 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3 would be somewhere out here. Actually, I'm going to, again, extend that pattern backwards. Now this time I don't want to make the line solid because we have just a greater than sign. It's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than. So I'm going to make this a dashed or dotted line, however you want to think of it. And again, we want to think of this like it's a roof, like if this was the other side of the roof. And we're talking about greater than, y is greater than, so that means we're going above the roof. So that would be up here. So I will shade this area. And the question is, where is the solution set for our system? And just like in a system of equalities, we looked for the common point that two lines share. Here we're looking for the common area that both regions share, the green and the blue. And we can see that. Let me go back to red again. We can, oh, it's kind of pink. That's all right. We're bounded right here by a solid line and right here by a dashed line. And this area right here is double shaded. And so the double shaded region is the solution to our system of inequalities. So pretty intuitive, honestly. We just graph them and we look for where they overlap. And that's it. You don't have to give an answer. There's no numeric answer here because how would you even talk about that? It's a little bit too broad of an area for us to just give a numeric answer. So you don't have to give any number in your answer, just the graph. So that's it for topic 1. You now know how to graph systems of inequalities.